Weber State won the coin toss and play on the road. They are wearing home white. So the dark jerseys, they're the home team. Non-traditional homecoming, to say the least, for the Aggies of Utah State. And it's interesting the way the program is growing as you look at the Wasatch Range on a beautiful night. Pretty soon, just a few weeks away from snow-capped mountains, Matt Wells getting his first win as the head coach of the Aggies. An alumni, let's not forget, a quarterback, a three-year Letterman here between 94 and 96.
Absolutely, and to come back and have his home opener as this Utah State Aggie head coach on homecoming, it must mean a lot to the first-year coach.
On the opposite side, well, it was a tough start to his head coaching season, his first year Weber State, rather, and 2-9 last year. A good win to start the new season this year, but then reality last week on the road at Utah.
Yeah, Coach Jody Sears, he's building a program here, and it's going to take some time. They have a national recruiting base, no doubt, but their goals have to be to eliminate bad football, tackle better than they did a week ago, and just try to make some big plays to stay in this game early, because this Utah State team is tough here at home.
Bo Bowling waiting back for the kick. Jaron Benford, who gets into it. About 7-8 yards deep. Bowling's going to bring it out. And does a good job across the 20. Sliding down just about the 21-yard line. So Jordan Domchek, the senior quarterback from Canyon Country, California, he is not available. Unfortunately, the starter is out. So it's going to be Austin Cipoletti, a true freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. And seriously, when you talk about a guy that is getting ready for his third game, almost no experience at all over the first two.
First road start, first start in general. A lot on his plate here today, a lot to ask the freshman from Florida.
Out of the gun, they want to get him involved right away, and they do. The toss and catch to Eric Walker. He's driven backwards after the completion to the 24 for a gain of about 3, brought down by Jake Dowdy from the offensive line. As you look up front, and as you look up front, remember, Weber State is also missing their starting center. Walker just made that grab. Tight ends, they've got some big ones. Hey, Mooley backing up for Hawaii. The offensive line, Dakota Jenkins Beatty. The backup center gets the start, but nothing doing. The running play. First carry of the game belongs to Zach Smith, a true freshman from Kissimmee, Florida. Brought down by Payokala. And then in the 3-4 alignment for the Aggies of Utah State. Vigil, Dowdy, their leading tacklers so far. We may see Fackrell on the offensive side of the football. They've got some formations where number 9 may set up offensively. And Alexander's their playmaker out of the secondary, the free safety, but he's also the senior from St. Louis, a big-time gambler. Well, the 24th, 37. Pocket collapses. Good hustle. Cipoletti getting a run for the first down. No. Brought down at about the 28, 29-yard line. Dowdy and Vigil first one over there. So 3 and out. But boy, they showed some confidence, Kevin and the young man, in putting the ball up in the air right away on the first snap of the game.
Love the first play call, getting him a completion, try to get his feet underneath him, get him some confidence. 3rd down and 8. They want to try to keep those 3rd downs short. 5 or less, keep it manageable for the freshman quarterback tonight.
Tony Epperson in to punt. It'll be Travis Van Leeuwen back deep. Man, little soccer style, rugby style. Van Leeuwen, good field position. Took the line drive at the 32, takes it across the 40. He's popped out of bounds right at the 40-yard line. So Weber State needs to win a lot of little battles. And I'm talking about field position-wise, but right away, Utah State gets it. The first possession of the game at the 40, and I mentioned Chucky Keaton plays like a senior at the top of the telecast. Luckily for the Aggies, and they've got him for another year. He's a junior from Houston.
One of the most complete quarterbacks in the country. He's right up there with the Bridgewaters and the Manziels as far as the things he can do on a football field. I'm really looking forward to watching him here today.
Motion out of the backfield right away. Nifty move by Keaton. Eluding the defensive end on that side as he got away from Malarkey. Pulled down by Hassan Ali. Best running back out of the backfield, Joe Hill, as their coach. Matt Wells told us, you're talking about a guy you need 3 or 4 yards on a little flare pattern. And then the offensive line, the Wimpy brothers. Identical twins, born 300 pounds ago. There were 3 pounds, a couple of ounces when they were born. Now well over 300 pounds. Little bubble. Man the screen for Bruce Natson, a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. And he's got the first down across the midfield stripe, brought down by D-back Chris Jones. In the 4-2-5 for Weber State, because they open in a nickel. And Connor Myers is their man up the middle. But Chris Jones has just made the play. He's a playmaker in the backfield like Chris Wheeler. On first down, just taking it straight up the gut is Joe Hill, the junior from Southern California, from Fullerton. Brought down by Chris Wheeler.
You mentioned this 4-2-5 defense, a little unorthodox. You don't see it a ton in college football to be a true nickel defense all the time, but it helps them. It causes confusion, and for a lot of quarterbacks, it can make them make early mistakes in a football game if they have not seen it before.
Home opener for Utah State. Off the play fake. Ton of time and a wide open receiver. He's got it. Taking it in. It's Travis Van Leeuwen, the senior from Provo. And he's got it to a first and goal at the 5, and he had to wait for it.
He did. Chucky Keaton comes off the play action fake and throws it up. Van Leeuwen was on a little bit of a double move there right at the first down marker. They got the cornerback to bite, throws that ball up, and Van Leeuwen, the one thing about him as their senior leader of this wide receiver by committee is his yards per catch at 16.1 so far this year. He's really turning into a big-time playmaker, which he was not a year ago.
You like this formation?
I do. It gives you so many options. You see Keegan Anderson in. It's almost a 3 running back set with him in the ball game.
And now it's Keaton, just a little bit too tall for Robert Marshall. The senior from Dallas was there for the touchdown. It'll be second and goal. But as you said, a lot of options when you get trips in the backfield.
It gives you options because you can run the football, the traditional option run plays that you see when there's 3 backs in the backfield. But the play action game off of it is so dynamic. And when you've got a guy like Chucky Keaton running it, plays are endless because he can make throws sideline to sideline like we saw early in this game already.
Single this time is Joe Hill in the backfield on second and goal. It's available. Touchdown. Tialavea, the tight end, on the receiving end. And that's the way homecoming starts for the Aggies on a short field. Tialavea, the senior from West Jordan, Utah.
You're going to see what we were just talking about, the versatility of this offense, the play action pass off of that play. They find their senior tight end from West Jordan, Utah, and he's more of a blocker. So it's great to see him get a look early on in this football game. Chucky Keaton finding his senior tight end.
Diaz in for the point after. And an early 7-0 lead. You talked about it. It's like an extra tackle. Guy is about 265, 270. So he only needed 5, and he got it on that reception. 6-play, 60-yard drive, and a perfect start to homecoming for Utah State, up by 7. On the opening possession of the game for the Aggies of Utah State. And Kevin will look back at that touchdown toss, the big tight end for the Aggies.
You see a little bit of everything on this drive, but the play action with the run blocking tight end, you said it, he's like an extra tackle on the field. It is just so hard for those linebackers not to bite up on that fake, and getting the big fella, Tialavea, a touchdown early here will do wonders for his confidence moving forward, and he'll probably block even better tonight because of it.
Jake Thompson kicks it away, true freshman from Logan. He'll be Cordero Dixon right at the goal line. Laying up the middle, closes in a hurry. So once again, the return of 22 yards, he takes it for Weber State to the 22-yard line. So no surprise in the red zone for Utah State to capitalize.
None whatsoever. They are number 1, or at least tied for first in the country in red zone scoring. They've had 9 drives, now 10 drives, and they've had 8 touchdowns on those drives and kicked field goals on the other 2. When they get down inside that 25, it's almost automatic for this Utah State team.
So the story for Weber State, their senior quarterback Jordan Adamczyk not in the game. Chip Aletti, little swing out in the flat, Bo Bolin. And he puts the ball on the ground. It's out of bounds. Fortunately for Weber State, They'll put it out at about the 24, 25-yard line. Brian Sweet over there out of the secondary. A strong safety, a senior from Hawaii.
Bo Boland's a guy they want to move all over this formation. You'll see him catch balls like this on swing routes. You'll see him line up as a receiver, and then he's a very good running back as well. But as a leader of this team, he's got to hold on to that football early in this game.
Turning around, the wide receiver pass behind, but take it in. Yes, it's complete. It goes for Weber State out to Kella Marcial, their senior from Hawaii. And it's going to bring up third and still about 6, almost 7. So they don't hurry. And that's with, don't forget, a true freshman quarterback. The blitz is on. Single coverage on the outside, and he throws it behind Cameron Livingston. Little rush on the quarterback.
Utah State doing the freshman quarterback no favors here. They send an all-out pressure, bring both of their safeties, both Brian Sweet and Maurice Alexander. Aggressive play call, and that's why you want to be in third and manageable, because 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, this Utah State defense can dial up whatever they want, put heat on the freshman early on, force a punt.
So Utah State, one of the most experienced units in the entire country. That's on both sides of the ball, is Bruce Natson. The wide receiver is waiting back inside the 35. Got a feeling it's going to be a busy day for Tony Epperson, senior punter for Weber State. Wobble line drive.
Return that.
And Natson trying to find a lane. Can they break it to the outside? He'll take the little alley over to the left, past the 40, up to the 42. So again, great field position for Utah State. First time, their own 40. Took 6 plays to get to the end zone. Will it take 6 this time? We talked about a step up in company for Weber State. That is definitely the case. But I was just talking about the experience factor. The most experienced in Division I play. They've got 13 seniors on this squad and 7 juniors that have all started games. What a luxury for Matt Wells in his first year as the head coach.
It really is, because leadership, especially senior leadership, is so important, especially for a first-year head coach. Get his guys out there working throughout the year, off-season, spring football, training camp, and on into the season. He knows he's got good football players, good leaders with the keys to the car when he's not around.
And Matt Wells, as you look at him, he can relate to some of these guys. He's only 40. He's got some players that are 25 or 26 on the team because they went to an LDS mission. Time for Keaton, man, on the outside, it's complete. And big yardage over on that side of the field, going to Sean Johnson, the junior from Southern California, from Cerritos.
This is what Utah State does. They spread you out, and you've got to cover the entire football field, and Keaton is so accurate, he completes all of those short passes.
Good play. Linebacker coming up on the play, Roman Valenzuela. Loses his helmet in the process. Sophomore from South Jordan, Utah. That's a baby face for you.
It's been a real surprise for this Wildcat defense early on in the season. You see there the aggressive stunt comes off the edge. Second on this team in tackles with 15 so far, and that is his 2nd tackle for a loss on the season. They need more of those tonight from this linebacking.
That's a huge loss. Takes him off schedule. 2nd and 19. Joe Hill tripped up and spun around. Outstanding play. He talked about him at the top of the telecast. Big time Anthony Morales.
Coach Sears called him his bell cow, like we said in the open, and he really is. He's got to fly around. The way this defense works, they like to free up these linebackers. D-line tries to take up that offensive line, not let them block the linebackers. They've got to run, and they've got to make every tackle. They didn't do that a week ago. They've got to be better tonight.
Yeah, Morales led the Big Sky in stops last year. There was a lot of room in front of Joe Hill if he doesn't get him down. 3rd and 15. Only a 3-man rush. Keaton's got it. That was Natson again. Laid out a little bit to get to it. Little guy at 5'7", 150. How many guys play the game at 5'7", 150?
And the way he plays the game. He's still physical despite his small size, but you'll see this throw. 2-deep zone, very conservative defensive play call. They find the receiver, Natson, down the middle of the field. You'd like to do a better job. You force 3rd and 16 there. Utah State moves the change.
It was good for 27 yards. The carry on a zone read by the quarterback. Quarterback option read. Joe Hill gets 3. So Joe Hill, he had a 6-yard average last year. He had 2 TDs in last week's game. That was the first time in his career he's had 2 rushing touchdowns. A little counter action. Good yardage for Joe DiMartino, the senior from San Diego. But as Matt Wells told us, everybody will get touches. Hill, DiMartino, and Marshall, they'll all play.
It's important for them to establish the run game early on. And boy, the offensive line, all 5 starters back, 134 career starts. This group may be a top 10 offensive line in the country. I know that's saying a lot, but they are very, very good.
A lot of experience, as you mentioned, up front. 3rd and 4. Keaton, and a bullet complete to Van Leeuwen. He's got the first down, yes, outside of the 11. And check that. It was Swindle, Brandon Swindle, who took it. His first, the sophomore from Oklahoma City. So the drive is alive. And bolting up the middle, touchdown, Joey DiMartino. Getting away early. An 11-yard touchdown run.
DiMartino, more of the one-cut downhill physical runner, and you saw that right there. When you've got an offensive line like they do, and they can run behind Marcosian and Tyler Lawson, a guy like Joey DiMartino is going to have a lot of success getting downhill in a hurry. Good pull by number 73, Kyle Wimpy there, one of the Wimpy twins on this Utah State offensive line, and already you're starting to see these guys really assert themselves at the line of scrimmage. Good answer. After putting up that first drive, Weber State goes 3 and out. If you want to take advantage of a team like Weber State here at home, you got to get up on them early.
So too easy, too early. Weber State in trouble on the road, trailing by 14. "14 snaps into this game offensively for Utah State. They are averaging over 8, almost 9 yards per pop. Joe Hill, a catalyst. Utah, 58 yards, a little less than 3 minutes on that last drive. It's kicked away by Thompson. And out of the end zone it goes at elevation in Logan, Utah. So well over the head of Bo Bowling, no choice there. Weber is yet to pick up a first down. So they've had 6 snaps. 3 of them on the ground and only 6 yards rushing. Well, they've got to keep them honest, and especially with a true freshman quarterback, Austin Cipollette, starting. So let's see what they come out and if they mix things up, Kevin.
You do not want to come out and throw this ball 50 times with a freshman quarterback against this experienced veteran defense from Utah State. Got to try to get the running game going, rely on your offensive line to set the tone here on this 3rd drive.
Well, this is an interesting look. Wide splits on the offensive line. Little option read for the quarterback, and he made a good decision with Josh Booker. Senior from Oklahoma City. Just bangs his way across the 30 to the 31. They almost look like, as Dowdy brings him down, almost look like Texas Tech with those big splits up front.
They do, and when you're playing a 3-4 defense, you can really spread that defense out with those wide splits. See how long before Utah State just starts blitzing everybody.
Into the backfield. The read didn't work. Cipollette that time did it. And it's Dowdy again.
That's the one thing. You have those wide splits. They're great in really moving those defensive linemen wider than they want to be. But then you've got a guy like Jake Dowdy who fills that gap so quickly. That's going to be the answer by Utah State. And as we see, it gets Weber State back to their regular splits up front.
He's a hot linebacker, isn't he? 27 tackles for Dowdy over the first 2 games of the season. Pretty healthy numbers against quality competition in Utah and Air Force. We're talking to Matt Wells, the lane integrity and the job they did against the run. His front 7, it was sensational last week in Colorado Springs. 3rd and about 8. Cipollette on the run, tough. Really a tough throw. As it falls incomplete, looking over to that side of the field for Marcial. So another 3 and outs. And he was in trouble as soon as he got the snap.
He was. Utah State brought another pressure, brought a safety off the edge, Maurice Alexander, and he was chasing him down. Designed rollout to try to help the freshman quarterback get a clear throwing lane. As you can see, they had him very covered. Good stop again by this Utah State defense.
Epperson. Another line drive. And it's going to be Travis Reynolds. Check that. Nats in instead, and he gets outside. Number 9. It's a great field position. Up at the 47 this time. Utah State gets it back for the 3rd time. When we come back, they're perfect 2 for 2 homecoming weekend so far. For the Aggies of Utah State homecoming weekend, and welcome back to Logan. Joel Myers along with Kevin O'Connell and our close friends of better than 28,000 here. It is packed with good reason. Program's in good shape and outstanding play. Keaton upset with the play defensively by Weber State's Chris Wheeler, who pounced on him. Even though the ball was out, he got his money's worth, and he rushed the play to an incompletion.
Wheeler, the rover in this 4-2-5 defense of the Wildcats. He's been a bright spot. Even last week in their tough loss, he had a great game. Bright spot. Coach Sears mentioned him, and so they send him off the edge, get a little pressure on the junior quarterback.
You saw the numbers so far for Chucky Keaton, a guy who's had single-season records at Utah State last year for touchdown passes, bouncing it out. He's thrown out of bounds. Across the midfield stripe, Joe Hill to about the 47 by Luke King, the sophomore from Salt Lake City. So a 3rd down coming. They converted on 3rd and 15 on the last touchdown drive. This is easy in comparison. 3rd and 5.
Defensive coordinator Eric Lewis fights that battle at Weber State. Do you send everybody and leave your guys in one-on-one coverage, or do you play a soft zone? And we saw Chucky Keaton attack that the last time.
Utah State, a perfect start, 2 of 2 on their 3rd downs. Keaton can run for it, can walk for it. He had that much space, and out of bounds at the 39. We were just talking to the D coordinator of Weber State. The challenge for him, get everybody back up after they lost 70-7 last week.
620 yards of offense, and it was not pretty. There was not a lot of positives you could draw from that. That's the old bury the tape as fast as you can and move forward. But you got to move forward to another team in this state of Utah that's got a great offense, a good mobile, athletic quarterback that can make all the throws. Tough task to play these teams back-to-back for Weber State.
Looking at the bubble on a double move, wide open. It's there, and it's a touchdown for Utah State and Travis Reynolds. 39 yards on the score, and far too easy as they flooded that side of the field.
When you're Utah State, you've got 3-4 wideouts that can all run vertically. What happens is Chucky Keaton just gets to pick a matchup. Another double move, and the quarterback lays this one perfectly right where it's supposed to be, over the inside shoulder. Fantastic throw, but you've got to cover the whole field against these guys, and it is tough to do. Weber State up against a very, very good team in Utah State, and they look like they're rolling tonight.
Nick Diaz with the point after. So Reynolds, the senior from Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. There's definitely a Florida presence with Utah State. But boy, options were out there for the quarterback, Chucky Keaton. He had more than one available.
Talking to Coach Wells this week, one of the things he really liked about Keaton so far this year is he's tightened up his fundamentals, and sometimes you can lose those when you have such success early on in your career, but you saw him in the pocket there. Very tight footwork, tight fundamentals, gets that ball down the field, very accurate with the deep ball.
So 4 plays covering 53. Back to what you were talking about, though. He said his quarterback got a little long in his release last year, and it was some concern to them as they got him ready for his junior season.
And Keaton responded. You know, a lot of times a guy statistically has a year like he did a year ago, he might think he has all the answers. He's got it all figured out, but it sounded like Keaton really went back to work and tried to improve on whatever weaknesses he's had. And I'll tell you what, throwing for 78, 79%, so far this year. He's been so impressive.
Bo Bolin lets it go over his head. Yeah, Weber State gets it for the fourth time. All 4 times at the 25 or inside their own 25. So everything going according to plan for Utah State. Now, good Weber State with 3 series already for Austin Cipolleti. Can they settle down with his first career start, and especially his first on the road?
Offensively, they just have to try to get a first down. Try to get a little bit of momentum and then worry about crossing midfield. But right now, try to get a first down. That's your goal if you're Weber State. A lot of teams go into this spread offense where the quarterback looks over at the sideline. Sometimes that's great. You get a good play call, but other times you're up against the play clock as well.
That's the case. Yeah. Banging his way out of the backfield that time was Josh Booker. Not much available. Zach Vigil on top of the situation. And Zach is backed up by his brother, Nick Vigil.
This linebacking core for the Aggies, they legitimately have 3 all-conference caliber players. And then, like you said, Nick Vigil, the younger brother of Zach, he can play very well as well.
Short side of the field, option, Cipolleti. Didn't go with the pitch to Booker.
And it sets up another 3rd and long. And this is where you do not want your quarterback. Utah State's brought a lot of pressure early on in this game. As a play caller, you got to be aware of that. So you get a little bit more conservative. Tough down and distance for Cipolleti. He's had them all night so far.
B.J. Larson making the stop. So Jody Sears, you can see, he knew it was going to be tough coming into the contest. Don't know if he thought it was going to be this difficult this early, though. But this is really a good Aggie squad. 3rd and 7. Rushing 5 and forces Cipolleti out of the pocket. The throw low. Is it a trap? Yes. Eric Walker tried to get it. And Cipolleti was, he was a fraction away from crossing the line of scrimmage.
He was, but that's his nature is to scramble. He's an athletic, mobile quarterback that gets out and makes plays. You'd love to see Eric Walker make that play. The senior, he's been a leader for this team. 3rd and 8, you need a guy to make a play. Would have loved to see him squeeze that one.
171 yards of total offense. The other side, 12 snaps now for Weber State. They have only 17. This is already going to be 4th punt of the game for Tony Epperson. And short hop, got it away. Good hands by the punter as it rolls out of bounds inside the 35. They'll put it right at the 35. So again, Utah State, not only are they doing everything well, but they're getting great field position to start all their drives. So, scoreboard's got him 21, and then the disparity in total yards.
All you have to do is look at 3rd down in this game. Coming in, Weber State only completing about 25% of their 3rd down opportunities. You're just not going to stay on the field, and with an offense like Utah State, they're going to get the momentum, and they're not going to give it up.
They're 0 for 4 in their 3rd down so far. Quick one on the out. Bam, it's complete. Big target over there, taking it in. Travis Van Leeuwen goes at 6'3", almost 6'4", 195. So he can put it up there. It's a gain of 9.
This receiving core has a little bit of everything. Shifty guys to play the slot, and then the big receivers outside as well.
Got the first down, scrambling his way is Joe Hill. So he's their glue guy. Career high of 116 yards came last season. And in the opener, he had plenty of touches, 25 in the Utah game. 18 carries, 7 catches. He's a busy guy in the backfield. They'll use all 3, but Hill is going to get his numbers. Nats in the motion man. Pocket holds up well. Yeah, throwing it out of bounds, good idea, but good job. Secondary did an exceptional job, obviously.
Utah State trying to run vertically down the field. They sent all 4 receivers vertical. Good job by this Weber State 4-2-5 defense. They covered everybody. If there's an open guy, Chucky Keaton's going to find him. That's why it's such a tough task for these Wildcat defenders. But nice job there forcing a 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, this Weber State defense has been on the field the entire first quarter. Counting down 90 seconds left of the quarter. Breaking tackles for the first down marker is Joey DiMartino. So he's going through arm tackles, and he gets 9 on 2nd down. Transfer from Rosemont Junior College in Southern California. And a guy who played mostly on special teams last year is getting now involved in the rotation of the backfield. 3rd and a yard. Trips on the wide side. A little flanker kick out screen. Flags on the play after the catch by Swindle. And was it a hold on the clock, potentially?
This receiving core, a lot of these short passes, the way they turn into big plays is by having those guys block.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 44. 15 yards to the end of the run, automatic 1st down.
So at the end of the play, mark on the personal foul. That's our first penalty of the game. And a big one.
This Utah State offense does not need any help. And Weber State, one of the things Coach Sears wanted to see his team do was play a clean football game, try to limit as many turnovers and penalties as they possibly could.
So Utah State team that could have won at Utah gave away big lead, 9 late in the 3rd. And I bring that up because it was 70-7 as Morales is in on that stop. 70-7, Weber State lost to Utah, whereas the week before, Utah won by 4 to come from behind against the same Utah State team. One of only 4 losses for Utah State over the last 21 games. And those 4 losses by just 10 points. Go back to last season, they lost at Camp Randall by 2. That's really tough. 16-14 to Wisconsin.
There's no doubt that this program is operating on a very high level. Despite having a first-year coach, they've been able to have success time and time again. Veteran group, they expect to do it again this year.
Joe Hill's got a lane. Goes through another arm tackle. And a 1st and goal inside the 5. Chris Jones finally catches up to him in the secondary. And they're going to, as you mentioned while we were away, you made a great point. As soon as Utah State gets a 1st down, and that's going to be the end of the quarter. But as soon as they get a 1st down, I don't care if it's 1st and goal or at the midfield stripe. They're ready. They're in a hurry.
And it's to try to keep you as a defense in the wrong personnel groupings. 3rd down, you put in a certain defense. You get that 1st down, they're going to go up to the ball and snap it as fast as possible. Try to give junior quarterback Chucky Keaton all the advantage he needs. And I'll tell you what, this offense early on, they've got the running game going. They've got the receiving core, this committee. They're all doing their job. They're getting downfield behind this veteran offensive line. Weber State has their hands full, no doubt.
15 minutes of play in the books and 217 yards of total offense and 21 points on the board already for the Aggies of Utah State. Homecoming weekend in Logan.